Hello everybody, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Today it is early in the morning. I'm going to say it's roughly 11:40 a.m. and it is a Sunday in Australia. So I know that I said I'm going to do a few Sunday chats, a few more, so we will keep going along with my list. So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things, but soap rules is one of the main ones because the soap industry has changed a little bit in Australia lately, and it's really there to try and protect everybody and try and make sure that we're doing all the right things and making soap. So and a little disclaimer, I do not work for that part of Australia where they tell you all the rules, and I'm just really giving you a little bit of information. But from here, of course, go and do some research and go and do your own due diligence along with that. And I'm sure that you will actually go and find out lots of information on the Australian website, and later on after the video I'll put some links for those videos and things like that that you can actually watch through ASIC, and that is where you find out the soap rules in Australia, because like I said, they have changed. So today we're going to go through a few things. I am going to put my glasses on so I can actually see. Hello Suzanne, how are you? I can see your comment only just, and I'm sorry that you can see my glasses with this ugly blue. I mean, when I got them I wanted pink, but of course they didn't have any pink, and now there's pink everywhere. So anyway, my next glasses will be pink, and I'm 52 years old, so we're almost in a couple of weeks. So of course your eyes don't love you then. Now first, like I said, we're going to be talking about a couple of things soap related with these new laws that have come in. So a few weeks back they decided that they were going to change the way that soap was made, manufactured, and all of that kind of thing with soap in Australia. So now there's a few things to think of. Before, basically in Australia we would pay, I think it was about $89 a year, and with $89 a year that kind of said that you were a part of that, so you're declaring that you make soap and sell it. Oh, you finally got to watch me, lovely Carly. Yeah, well, I know markets is probably horrible today because it's raining, and absolutely a shocking day. So I can't see many people doing well at a market this weekend. And I hope they do, but in Australia I'm talking. So now when we're talking about the new soap regulations, and as I said at the start, disclaimer, I do not work for them, and this is just from what I've seen. So after this, please go and ask more. And if you don't understand, and I don't blame you for not understanding, it's very complex. And what you need to do from there is a little part at the bottom of ASIC. So basically all you do in the search bar is just type in selling soap and it will come up. And then from there they have lots of videos and information, but I think honestly it just goes round in a circle from what I've read. And what you can do there is like a bit at the bottom, and then you can click on that to contact them. So, and they will email you back and they'll give you a call if you have any questions, because a lot of people are quite confused at the way the new law is. So now let's talk about it from the start. So basically, if you are making 10 kilograms of soap or less, it means you're kind of exempt because you're at the bottom level. You still have to do, your normal thing and let them know you're selling soap. But to be really honest, most people are going to sell more than 10 kilos a year. 10 kilos is 90 bars of soap. So it's really not, 90 bars is really not many. It's like a handful a month, if you think about it like that. So I think most people would be different. Now, one thing that changes things a lot, if you read their site and ASIC, it's very, like I said, it is very complex. But one thing I've noticed that changes a lot, if you are purchasing your fragrance oils and you're also purchasing lye and things like that from Australian suppliers, it makes your life much easier. The thing that becomes a lot more complex, let me just get rid of that. The thing that makes things really, really complex is when you're starting to purchase things or buy in bulk from overseas. That's sort of what they want to know. And then that's when you're paying a lot more money. So, like I said, there's different levels. So it depends on what you sell. So if you're selling, like I said, 10 kilos or less a year, you're at the very bottom. Not a lot changes. Of course, as I say, even if they don't say that you have to do this, I would still keep records. And on Patreon, I have started doing some test sheets, which I've provided on there. So you can go over there and get them. I will be putting some more on there today. I'm just finishing them up. And these sheets are something that you can keep and you can just fill out for your own records. So, it'll be things on it like, it might be the recipe. So what I do on the test sheet is I just write the recipe. So for instance, if my recipe is what I call my basic recipe, which is the thing I use all the time, I'll just write basic recipes so somebody could go back to that recipe. And then I will have things, when it was made, when it was cured, I tested it. So when I'm, say, testing, I always cut a slither off for myself and, rub it on my hands to see that it's not going to hurt my hands or anything like that. You can tell straight away if it's lie heavy, and then I would just dispose of it. So, these are the kind of things that you want to do. And they want to know, what are you using in it? How much fragrance are you using? The load percentages, things like that. So you can write the percentage of all the ingredients and things like that on it. So, and, if you're selling more than the 10 kilos, that's kind of what they want. But really, if you break this whole new thing down with soap and just make it really basic, pretty much what they want to know is they just want to know how many bars you're selling, what you're doing to sell it, and a bit of your process. Really, they just want to see that you're selling it safe. If we're going to be honest, that's pretty much what it's all about. It's just trying to, I guess they're trying to push some people out that may not want to document everything and things like that. So I guess that's really how I see it. They're trying to get people that are trying to be professional and people that are trying to keep all their records and things like that. And I know it's a bit boring keeping your records. It's annoying, but just keep a folder. I just have, a clipboard sort of, not a clipboard, a hole punch kind of folder. And then I just put all the information in that. And, you could label it, for instance, 2025. So all the recipes you do in 25 and then separate it. That's an easy thing to do. Hi, Sharon Lovely. Welcome, my love, to our Sunday chat. We're just talking a little bit about soap. But of course, like I said, for the soap regulations, please go and check it out. Even if you're from another country, it might be really interesting for you just to go and check it out. I think it's really interesting, the way that they've done this. And I think really, I don't think it's going to be long before the candle industry also changes. Because the thing is, it's really been relaxed for a long time. I mean, if you think about it, people just paid $85 a year to be a registered soap maker or to register that they are making soap. And then that's it. They didn't do anything else. You didn't provide documents, nothing. So realistically, I think they've just done what I consider really should probably be like the bare minimum when you're actually manufacturing or selling soap. So, and when I started selling soap, honestly, I'd probably only sell 10 bars a year. I really sold hardly anything. Then when I did markets, I'm going to say maybe I sold 50 bars a year. Honestly, a month, I probably wouldn't have even sold 5 bars a month. So, but of course, the further on you get, then you start selling in hundreds. And, if you watch people such as like Muddy Mint, or you watch the Soap Gal, which I love the Soap Gal and Muddy Mint. They're amazing. If you need information on soap, they are so good. They know what they're talking about. And Muddy Mint has just actually produced a book. So I know her book has just come out. And I definitely will be going on and grabbing that when I can. I'm not sure it's available to Australians yet, but and they talk a lot about their processes. So especially the Soap Gal, she talks a lot about, having these processes set up, even if it's just you making it. So if there was ever a question, with your soap and somebody had, a reaction or something, you could just pull out straight away and you could send that or, whatever you want to do, send that to the government if they ask for that. And you could actually say, well, this is my process. This is what I follow. And these are my test sheets. And that it protects you a lot. It's very important. Yeah, well, that's right. That's right, Sharon, exactly. And I think that's the thing. A lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot, actually. It's probably very few that just sell things that maybe aren't safe. They're maybe not tested. And that's, really, really important as well. So yeah, and sorry, and I can see somebody's asking on here for, can they join a membership on YouTube? It comes up when I do a video and then I'll delete it, but I don't actually have a membership on YouTube. You just need to go over to Patreon, and there is links in the top to Patreon if you want to go over there, and you can either join on Patreon, or I do have a section where you can literally just buy some recipes or some documents that I put there. But if I'm honest, it's probably cheaper for you to actually join at the $10 level, even if you just join for a month, and you can get all the you'll be able to see all the sheets. And I'm slowly putting more and more up there just to help everyone. But as I did say, and I have a disclaimer on all of my videos, please do your own due diligence. This is only from my own personal digging around finding this information, but of course, you need to do it for yourself, because if something went wrong, you can't just say, well, I watch a YouTuber. That just is not going to cut it. So it's really important to do that due diligence. So like I said, in Australia at the moment, if you're selling 10 kilos, which is roughly 90 bars a year, you're at the lowest level. And depending on how much you sell, because like I said, some people sell 1 million bars of soap, some might sell 1,000, some might sell 50. So there are different levels in that. And of course, the reason too that there's different levels is, for instance, if you're only making 2 kilos of soap a year, the sodium hydroxide you're going to use, which of course is a caustic material, is much lower than somebody like me that might make 1,000 soaps. And there was a time too, I think it was about a year, where I was making soap, but I wasn't selling them. So I think it was about a year and a half. It was after my dad died. I really pretty much didn't sell a lot. I was, trying to just make it and letting it cure for a long time. So, you can take time off. So it's not about making it. It's when you're selling it. Or giving it away. Giving it away is the same thing. You still need to do that, because you'll be amazed. You think your friends or family are not going to sue you, but sometimes they actually do. So, still keep records even if you're making soap. Like I do have a video coming out. I just made a breast milk soap for my daughter who is breastfeeding my little grandson who is 12 weeks old. And that was the first time I've ever made a breast milk soap. I would never make it for somebody and sell it. That's a whole new ball game doing that. And you can't actually be selling breast milk if you're breastfeeding and you make it. You can't sell it to somebody else because it's a body fluid. So very important to please read up on that. So and as I have said a lot of times during this video, this is for my daughter. This is not sold. It is just something I've made for her because she asked me to make it for her. So anyway, there's lots of things involved in soap making, whether you're putting food in soap. Some people put, carrots and things like that and juices and, it's so many things to think of that we don't think of when we make soap. And everyone has different skin and different sensitivities. So when you sell your soap, at the back of the soap, you really need to put, a bit of a warning or disclaimer. So basically mine, it has lots of information, but the main information for the warnings is it just says, if you get redness or irritation, please discontinue use and rinse off with cool water. Seek advice as required. That is pretty much my warning on it, as well as other things. Don't get it in your eyes and that kind of thing. But, look up what you need to put in it, because each country will have something else that they need to put in it. And then, of course, you do need to write, the ingredients list, the weight on it, what it is. So many things to think of, my friends. So if you're doing the cigar band, you can write all of that in the cigar band. If you are doing, a wrap, you can put the sticker on the back on the wrap. Or if you've got professional boxes, look at that. And, go into stores and pick up soap. That's what I did. Go and pick up soap and see what it says on the back. Because if they're selling in your local shopping centre, they have to adhere to law. So that's a really easy way for you to know what you really do need to put on your soap. So if you were, say, in Canada, I would look on the back of it and find one that's Canadian made, and then see what they need to put on it. If it's made in the US or made in England or made in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, wherever you are, I would find one that was made in that country and then find what they've had to put on it. But don't just find one at a market. Go and find one that is in a shopping centre, because they need to do a lot of contracts and due diligence to get their products in a big chain. So that's super important. And the one thing that I've noticed selling on Fair, a lot of people have said to me, your warnings and your labels are very clear, and they actually really liked that. And now a lot of those people are coming back buying more things, whether it's candles, lip balms, whatever. That's one thing that I have noticed. A lot of people are saying to me that they've bought things in the past and they felt that the ingredients list wasn't very thorough or warnings weren't thorough. So you might actually bring yourself a lot more customers by writing all of those things, like I said, on the back of your soap bars or, lotion bars, whatever it is. And do remember, at any time, a government official can come where you're making and check out your space. So try and keep it clean and organised at all times. It's really important. I know we have messy days when we're packing and things like that, but super important. And I do know there's a lot of people that have said to me with soap, they have decided not to make it. They just don't want to deal with these new laws, and that's fine. Then you could drop that and maybe do something else instead. You've made liquids. Oh, made liquid soap. Liquid soap is very tricky to make. It does not dissolve. I'm not sure. Are you talking about the salt is not dissolving in your liquid soap? That's all I can think of. When you're making liquid soap is tricky. I'm going to tell you, I never attempted it until I'd made, 1,000 bars of soap, I think. I was after a couple years before I attempted it. The best video that I have seen, no, not salt, you add that later. Well, for me, honestly, with my liquid soap, I've never had a problem with it. And if you go over to Ali Everyday, her site, she's an Australian lady, she has a lot of subscribers. She is really excellent at explaining exactly what to do, and you need things like glycerin to thicken it up and to help it a bit. That's my suggestion. You used Ali's everyday recipe. Have you tried my one that's on mine? Because honestly, I've never had a fail. The one that I've put the recipe on YouTube. So because you can actually go back into soap calc when you're doing liquid soap, and you can write your own. Just make sure you change from sodium hydroxide to potassium, because potassium is liquid soap. It's a different lye that you're using. So make sure you're using the right lye. Just found you, my love. Okay, well, just go and check out my video. You can always message me through Insta or whatever. I'll always answer you back to help you sort of, find answers, hopefully. So, but liquid soap is really, really good. Yep, that's right. Yes, yep, that's right. That is the right one to use, my love. So we've talked about that. I hope good luck with making some liquid soap. It's really good. I love it. I've used up nearly all mine. I'm going to have to do a new one soon. It's just that, dissolving. So when you need to dissolve it, sometimes you can leave the heat on a little bit longer. I leave mine to dissolve overnight. About 24 hours, I leave mine to dissolve and put the lid back on the pot that you're using if you're using liquid soap. So like I said, we've talked about now, haven't we, the regulations and, so many things. Like I said, do your own due diligence, of course. Please, I don't want somebody saying it's my fault, But one thing I'll tell you, everybody, I have noticed I am selling a lot more on Fair lately. Like, honestly, I'm trying to keep up with all these orders, especially my candles. And, a while back, I had some people say to me, I would never pay $40 for a 220 gram candle. And I said, well, that's okay, because, clearly they're not my customer. But one thing I've noticed, I've sold that many. Like, I did a video back which were hundreds of jars. Nearly all the jars are gone. And I've just got another order overnight with lots more candles again, dozens of them. So that's the thing, everyone, that I really want people to understand. Don't bring the price of your soap or your candles down. If you have done your cost of goods, and that's literally what you have to sell it for to make money. And that's the thing too. You can't just be selling a candle making $1, because you're not going to make any money unless you're selling millions of those. If you were selling millions, maybe then, because you're taking a small profit, but in return that you're selling lots. So, and there's some things too on Fair when I put them on there that if they're a lower item, they have to buy 2 to get that item. So, because I don't want somebody coming in buying just 1 lip balm, 1 candle, 1 whatever, because clearly that's not a shop. If they're just buying 1, no shop is going to buy 1. So, that's something that, I've just noticed a little bit about that. But today we're not talking about candles. Like I said, it was more about soap and, just making sure you're keeping these records. But from here, like I said, today, probably this afternoon, I will have loaded a few more. I've got 2 more on the go, 2 more testing sheets that I'll put in there. And it's just a reference for you. You can change it and, make your own sheets as well if you like. But these ones will just help you to keep records and hopefully, just keep growing your business. But like I said, a part of growing it is the paperwork, which, look, I hate the paperwork side. I really do. I love the creating side. But if you're selling, you really do have to start to keep records if you haven't done that before. If you don't have a computer or print anything out, because not everyone does, just get an exercise book like this, and just write it all in. Just write each recipe, the dates, and that's the thing that you really want to write. You want to write the dates, the recipe, the ingredients that you're using, and then what I do at the end of it. So say I've got 10 kilos of soap I've made, then I would say how many bars is in that, and create like your own batch number. So let's pretend it is soap. Maybe you're going to write SB, meaning soap bar at 001. That might be what you're going to do. Or if your company is called Kelly, maybe it's going to be SB Kelly 001. So that, you can make your own batch number. You don't have to get a special label to do a batch number. You can create your own, and then as you go down the aisle, you'll go, okay, this is really good. I can do this. So in a folder, I do suggest that you have different sections. So have one section that is soap, one section that maybe is your body butter, one that is candles. So that way you've got sections for each one. And if you ever have a problem, which I've never had a problem, but if you ever do, you can go back and go, okay, this is what I did. This is how I made this. So it's really important. And like I said, I know it's annoying. No one wants to do these things. But, and once you've got one of them, you could just photocopy that as many times as you need to, put them in your book, and then as you need them, you've got them just to write out. Or generally with mine, I actually do mine on the computer. So I write it in like a scrapbook if I'm making soap, and then I will go over to the computer and log all the numbers in, and I do print it out and just keep it in the book. So, and I think if I'm right, you have to keep records for about 7 years. But don't quote me on that, because every country is different. Some countries are 10, some are forever. But in Australia, most things are kept for 7 to 10 years is pretty normal. If you're making something for a child, you have to keep it longer. So many years ago, I used to own a childcare centre, and you had to keep records until the child would have been at the age of 21. So, there's a lot of rules and laws depending on where you live. So like I said, just understand that. But I mean, there's no problem in keeping it for 20 years in case you had a problem. But I mean, if you haven't sold a soap, and you've got it and it's on someone's shelf, they're not going to keep that for 20 years on their shelf. They would have sold it off, and so on. And don't forget to write on your products that have use by dates. It's really, really important to write those things. So, but anyway, hopefully this has been, like I said, a little bit helpful and just explained a little bit about, keeping these things up to date and trying to understand them a bit more. But like I said, if you want any of those sheets or anything, go over to my Patreon, and there'll be more over there. I've started putting some already, but I'm definitely going to do some more. And, you know, please give me feedback if there's something else you want in the papers that you think aren't in it, and we can change them, and, you know, maybe I can fix them from there. But anyway, my loves, I'm going to go in a minute. But, oh, my last thing that I better tell you, the conference for 2025, which, if you don't know, I actually own the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference. We are so excited because it looks like we are going to have an insurance agent there to explain insurance. We are also going to have an accountant there to explain that side. So as well as we are going to be having our amazing supporter, Craft 360, and they are a supplier. So they'll be giving everyone a $40 voucher, whether you're online or in person. So very exciting, isn't it, my friends? But anyway, that's just a little sneaky bit at the end that you can get some information for watching me today. But anyway, I'm going to see you soon. See you next time. Bye.